Today I've got one of the strongest athletes on my team coming in here to squat. His name's Reese Keane, and he can squat 415 kilograms in the 140 kilogram class, except he's injured. And today he's coming in to refine his technique. We're not that strong at the moment because he's been injured, but now we're working towards. Today, the goal is going to be what?
280 kilos for some sets of 4.
So this is not as heavy as he has been, absolutely not. But when you have an injury, it's hard to squat that heavy. So what we're going to do is refine his technique. We're going to go step by step, have a look at all of his warm-up sets and the procedures that it takes to squat at a level like that. But the beauty is, even if you're not as strong as him, which you're probably not, you're going to gain from this as well. So the techniques that we use at the highest level applies to everyone underneath. So stay tuned. Hopefully we get to 280 kilograms for 2 sets of 4, unless of course he's injured and then we do nothing at all.
Here's what it is. But we're going to start warming up shortly. We'll just chuck on, the 25 kilo bar.
Yeah, I think it's even more. I think that's about it could be even a 30 kilo bar.
We might weigh it. Oh, yeah, okay,
26 kilos. Let's have a look. So this is Reese's first set of the barbell. He did a whole bunch of warming up that he's done before this. So let's check it out. He's got a cambered bar. That helps save his shoulders. A lot of big, strong bench presses have very immobile shoulders. So that bar helps with this. So let's have a look at a few things. Look at the speed that he's going down. He's not going so fast. And that's what you'll see typically for a lot of elite level lifters. It's 75 kilograms, but he's respecting it like he's going to respect his top weight. He's not just pumping up and down just because it's a warm-up weight. Something that I like to teach with all of my high-level lifts is treat the warm-up weights exactly like you're going to treat your top sets. So 75 kilograms, he's going to go up in 50 kilo jumps?
Yeah, I'm going to do one more set here. Do one more set, get the body moving.
How many reps was that?
5.
5 reps, he'll do 2 sets of 5, and then we'll start going up and slowly reducing the reps up until we get to 80 kilograms for 4. Hey, check this out. So this is the mono lift. So there's a difference between a lot of the squats that most gym goers use where they unrack it and they walk out of the rack and they do their squats. In a lot of high-level powerlifting competition, this is what you might see. So the mono lift is where you can get in your squat position from where you unrack and you just stand there. And instead of having to walk out, I will swing, you'll see when we go in real time, I'll swing the racks back so he doesn't have to walk out. Really, really handy, especially with these super heavyweight lifters when they're getting to big squats. As I said, his best squat is 415 kilograms. Of course, he'd be able to walk it out, but it's just a lot harder. So this way, oh man, when we're squatting that much weight in training, it's very stressful. It's a big ordeal, and that saves a lot of hassle when we use the mono lift. So stay tuned, and I'll show you how we use that in real time. He uses a low bar squat. He sits at, look at his deltoids. That's where the barbell has to sit. That's a low bar squat. Look at his stance. Let's have a look at everything that he's doing. His stance is a moderate stance. I think it looks good. Actually, when he was squatting his heaviest, he was probably going a little bit wider than that, but that might change as we get warmer and warmer. Look at his depth, crease of the hip, below the top of the knee. But when we wrap his knees, it's going to be harder to achieve that depth. Controls the weight down and stands up explosively, but still under control. A lot of people talk about concentric portion or the up phase of every lift. You get the most gains with muscle mass. So like motor unit recruitment, you may have heard those words before, when you move as fast as possible. The problem with high-level lifting is if you do that, a lot of the times you can lose the technique, you can lose the tension, so it interferes with lifting the right way. So I always say, come down under control, so slow and controlled, maintaining tension, and up as fast as you can while still maintaining control. So that's what you're going to see the whole way up. So next up, so it's 75 kilograms, we're going to go 125, and I'm going to show you how we use the mono. So now, obviously, he can walk out with it. But something that I like doing is warming up on the light weights with all the equipment. So we get used to the technique from the start. 3 reps. Controls the weight down, stands up with intent. Explosive, but still under control. Good one.
Feels all right, feels good.
Yeah, it looks good. So a few of the things that I'm looking for is alignment. So everyone's stance is different. Some people stand with a wide stance, some people close. It's unique to the individual. Everyone has a different hip structure and different levels of strength. So typically if you stand wider, it strengthens more your adductors, so your inner thigh muscles. The people with a closer stance, you'll see typically have bigger quadriceps. So everyone's unique with that. So what I look for, I don't care. It's like whatever you're comfortable with. What I look for is, are you able to achieve depth comfortably? That's very comfortable, that depth. And are we stacked? So what does stacked mean? I want to see his foot in line with his knee, in line with his hip. I want to see straight line. So sometimes you see a thing called valgus knees, which is the knees knocking in. I don't want that to happen because it's not as strong. The strongest structure is stacked, and that's what we're going for the whole time. So you might hear cues like knees out. That's only if the knees are coming in. I don't want the knees out like this. That's not what I want. That's out of alignment as well. I want in line, and I'll use the cue knees out if the knees are coming in. But otherwise, I don't need to cue it at all. If he's stacked, which is what he is, I don't say a word.
That's a big overused one.
Which,
Knees out.
yeah.
I'm guilty of it as well.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you got to use it when you need it, right?
Yeah. I think it's just overused. People just scream it. And then people just, without any intent, they just,
yeah.
But they're not gripping the floor properly.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. And I think that they get that from like watching people like us. Well, you know, they might hear us screaming at each other and they'll go, oh, that must be the cue. Yeah. But the only reason why we'll use it is...
Well, we know what we're doing, right? As context. We have a more detailed plan. They're hearing 2 words. The cues are meant to be short and sweet, but there's more to it than that.
Hey, why don't you tell us what you're thinking about with your feet? Why don't you tell?
Well, I guess what's important for me when I'm starting to squat.
I'm standing close, not because you're using my mic for this. Sure. I don't want to stand just close for no reason.
It's just, I like to think of it as gripping the floor as if you've got like a claw, right? And you're corkscrewing, externally rotating, trying to spread the floor apart. And you create that tension from the ground, so the external rotation comes from the floor, and then everything sort of follows suit. If you just say knees out, I think you miss that first part, so you've got no base, and then it's like kind of pointless, right? It's wobbly, it's not tight.
So if you saw the inside of his foot lifted then, so you don't want that to happen. So feet gripping the floor, screwing into the floor, like externally rotating into the floor, and then foot in line with knee, in line with hip, and then go as deep as you can.
Absolutely.
While still maintaining a neutral spine position. So when I say as deep as you can, don't just go ass to grass for the sake of it. As deep as you can while still maintaining tension at the bottom.
That's a lot to think about, a lot to put together at once, but break it down into smaller parts, keep it simple. Yeah.
Yeah, so we break it down a lot and talk about it a lot while we're warming up, but then when we get to the top sets, you don't want to be doing that.
No thinking.
You just go, you just scream. Scream and scream. Go, you idiot.
Absolutely. Go, dickhead.
Lift it. Yeah, pretty much. Check this out. So I'm going to give you a crash course on wrapping knees. Knee wraps don't protect your knees. In squat competition, they allow you to lift a heavier weight and it's part of the sport. So that's why we get used to it. So if you've got bad knees, I don't think that's going to fix it in any way. In fact, they can actually cause injury if you do it wrong. So the way that we like to do it is we start with a gentle knee wrap, and then every set we go gradually tighter and tighter. The tighter you go, the more bounce you're going to get out of the knee wrap. So I don't need a lot of bounce here. But what you're going to see is my technique. So I start with the wrap pre-rolled, and I don't tension it. I just roll it loosely, because when it's tensioned, I find it's got a big risk of slipping out of my hands, which I don't like. Some people do like it, pre-tension, but I don't. I just find that's the most comfortable way of doing it. The next thing, here's a little tip for you. I like to wet my hands. That gives you grip. A lot of people use chalk because chalk and grip, but for me, a bit of water. So I start with this. The center of this in line with the bottom of his kneecap, so the bottom of his patella. So that's the dead center there. Okay, first revolution is pretty tight, and now we're anchored in. Okay, so half the rev, half the thickness of the wrap, each revolution up. So that's 4 revolutions, and then just 1 round. So there's nothing fancy here. That's the first wrap. Nothing fancy, that's very loose actually. And if you're a beginner and learning how to wrap your knees, that's probably how I would teach you. If you go super tight because you see your favorite lifter going super tight, it's going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to interfere with your ability to squat because it hurts too much.
Feels good. It's definitely important to have the consistent tension, I find as well.
So now, how many reps here?
Let's just go. So you look review, man.
Sweet. So we did 75 for 2 sets of 5, and then we did 125 for a set of 3, and now it's going to be 1, 1, 1, 1 all the way up to the top set. And how many minutes rest in between? We haven't really stopped. We've just kind of kept on going, but then we'll get there as we go heavier, right?
Yeah. Probably 8 minutes between sets today for the top sets.
When we get heavy. So if you're doing 280 for the top set, what are you going to do the set before?
265.
265, and then we'll rest about 8 minutes, and then we'll go. Yeah, nice one. All right, 1 rep. Shit.
Oh, I nailed it. What a squat.
Yeah.
Sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
And you've got to be prepared.
Lucky it was on the warm-up set. So if you saw that little glitch, this is a safety rope. Are you going to use these on the top weights?
Nah.
You prefer not to have them?
I mean, unless they're set up all the way down, but that's fine. I don't really care.
Well, that's how it would be.
Usually Jesus is our spotter.
But maybe let's not do
Jesus is here. Jesus is with us everywhere.
that. That's why.
Yeah, we can use that?
Yeah, we're fine.
All right, so that was set up incorrectly, but that won't happen again. So if he dumps this, it's going to fall here. This is very strong. This can tow a truck, right? So if he dumps that, what we're going to have on his top sets, probably just me spotting. Maybe we'll get someone else. Maybe we'll get some of the boys. If he was going super, super heavy, we'd be like me behind him, and then someone on the end of each. When he's squatting 400 kilograms and plus, we'll have 2 people on the end. So one person here, 1 person on the plate, and then 1 person behind, and then two on the other side, the same way, and then 1 person unracking. So that's 6 people, and then you recording, and then her recording, 8 people, and then him lifting. There's 9 people to get a squat out.
Big deal, bro. It's a big fucking day. It's an ordeal.
It is an ordeal.
Stressful shit.
Yeah. And it takes some time as well. If we're doing 8 minutes rest between sets, you'll probably see once we get to the top set, it'll probably be about 45 to an hour in after all of the warm-ups. And that's only for a 280 kilo session.
And you'll get through your 2 working sets of squats, and then you've literally done a quarter of your session. You need to eat, maybe come back later. It's the best way to do it.
Yeah, so that's a lot of the times when he's training, it takes so long to get to the top sets, and actually it's exhausting. And 2 hours goes, and then you're hungry. So he'll typically do the top sets, eat, go home, and then train in the afternoon, his PM session.
Train at a high level, don't you?
Yeah, if you want to train at a high level, you've got to do your accessories.
You do. And you've got to have fuel for that. So.
Yeah, good one. All right, 4 reds. So that was 5, we'll go 6, and then 7. Okay. It's pretty loose.
I was wrapping 8 reps for my heaviest squats.
Yeah, I'll tell you my thought. I don't know if he'll do it because this is something I don't consider a deal breaker, and I guess he's used to it and it looks fantastic, but he's looking down when he squats. The body follows the eyes, so if you look down, it's going to allow your torso to tip forward naturally, which is, if you have a look at how he squats, his torso tips forward naturally, which is fine. It's good. He's got a strong back, he's got strong hips, but he's also got an injury in one of his adductors. The adductor is a hip extensor, so your movement, so we're kind of discussing the stance width, so the wider you go, the more adductors, but actually the more hips you use, the more adductors as well. So one solution, I'm not sure if he's going to be open to it.
I'm open to it. I've played around with it a little bit, and I found it contradictory to that, because I agree with you.
Yeah.
I found that by staying more upright, forcing more external rotation, to keep myself upright,
External rotation way in your hips.
yeah, was causing me discomfort
Good.
in the adductor. But that was a little while ago.
Yeah.
So maybe for this one, I'll give it a crack. I'll just try and adjust my head a little bit. A little less lean.
Well, the reason why I thought that is because I asked him how many revolutions I should do for his knee wraps, and he said 7. I haven't been going tight, which means he hasn't been going tight, which means he's not getting a lot out of the knee wraps. He doesn't need to get a lot out of the knee wraps because he's a very hip-dominant squatter. When I want to use more knee wraps, I want to be more upright and push the knees. So the more upright you are, the more the knees need to push in. The more you're looking down, the more the hips come back, and you don't get as much out of the knee wraps. So that's the trade-off. Yeah, but you've got strong hips.
I want to do this one, how you said it?
Yeah, let's give it a try. So what we're going to try next is, if you notice what he did before, he looked slightly down, and it's a really nice squat, especially if you're to do it raw. But to get the most out of the knee wraps, you want to push the knees into the wraps. The best way to push the knees into the wraps is to be more upright with the torso. The best way to be more upright is to look straight ahead. We'll give it a try.
It's been a while since I've had strong hands on me. Nice. Thanks, bro. Take it seriously, please.
I am. Okay. So that was slightly tighter. 6 revolutions. The set before was 5. The next one will be 1 tighter than that. So the cue is look straight ahead. Looking straight ahead is going to allow more upright torso. To be more upright, the knees need to push into the wraps. So that's what I'd like you to focus on, is just allowing the first movement is not to let the hips come back, but rather to let the knees come forward. Let them rest inside the wraps.
Still down a bit?
Yeah, still in the same spot pretty much.
It feels like
Yeah.
it's here, but then I go down, I need to adjust, because when I'm standing up and it's straight here, then I'm going down and it's here.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to look up slightly, and then as I come down, it will adjust.
Maybe. I think it's interesting to see, like, we'll do a zoom in on his face on the top sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what happens. The body naturally goes where it wants to go. And I find that a lot of people that warm up that way with their heads down, and when they get to the top weight, they kind of go,
Yeah.
to help them get up. So for me, I don't like to move. The only things that I say whenever you're doing a big lift, nothing moves except for the knees and the hips. That's all. I want everything else to be still. I don't want to see his beard waving around. I want to see that is still, completely still, and that's it. So when you see people go, you know, head down, head up, it's very minute. It's like, what does that millimeter matter? Does it matter that much? I don't know, but I don't want it to happen. For me, if I can improve it by a millimeter, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I like to have. So have a look at that. We'll have a look at his top weight to see what his head naturally does, and then that's feedback for his warm-up sets next session as well. It's like, what your head naturally does in your top sets, that's what you should do in your next warm-up set.
7 revs?
7 revs.
7 revs, and it's a nice tight 7 revs.
Yeah, I'll be able to get 8. Well, we'll see how that feels anyway. Give me feedback after this. Let's go, bro. Last warm up. Yep, good. Let's go. Nice. Yep.
So I felt like I had no proprioception.
Yeah.
No idea where I was.
That is the problem with introducing it at that weight.
So I felt
You look like it as well.
yeah, like, where's Deb? And
Yeah.
coming up, I felt like,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe I'll just bring it in the middle, maybe?
Yeah. It didn't look good.
No, it didn't feel good.
Nah. Spewing.
It felt disjointed.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like everything was together.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's like, the cue's not going to work now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a shame, but anyway, whatever. Maybe next time. So the way that I would do it next time is get you started on it on set 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So right now, going on the heavy weight. So what just happened now? So he's used to, he's refined. He's like well oiled. That's what he's been used to. So we tried to use that cue on an early set, 175, and or was it 225? On 225, which I still think is maybe a little bit slow. He didn't quite do it. He still looked down. So then we get to 265, which is his last warm-up set. New cue, late in the session. That's not a good way of doing it. So we've learnt right now that, silly,
We'll just lock it in.
back to normal.
Yep.
Back to normal.
How's the lower body looking apart?
Not good. So that fucked you.
That was bad.
So if you have a look at what happened, your knees came in then.
Okay, yeah, it just felt like I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. So you lost all. It looked quite loose.
Yeah.
And you didn't bounce out of the hole.
Yeah.
It looked like you had to push out of the hole. And at these weights for you, typically with Reese when he's squatting heavy, it kind of goes tight and then it just goes like this. On this type of weight for him, it stands up like it does with only one plate. So 1 plate, 2 plates. 280 for him should just go control and then pop. Then he wasn't using wraps, he was just pushing. A little bit of loss of tension because of the way that you were looking. Anyway,
Here's what it is.
we'll go back to, I feel it's a bit of a mistake with the warm-ups now.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a wasted warm-up.
Yeah,
Are you happy to go to 280?
I have tried. I'm happy to do 280. I see. The thing is, I've done that in the warm-ups before.
Yeah.
The issue I had early on even was, as it got heavier, I felt more and more disjointed. Like
Yeah.
My head wasn't touching my body.
Yeah,
Therefore, I didn't feel like I was getting tight in my back.
yeah,
I felt it hard to link everything together. I felt like just for me, by bringing my head down, it kept me all like.
brace the way that you're used to bracing.
Bracing,
Of course. I'll tell you now.
Yeah.
I know it's energy consuming,
Yeah.
but I reckon the better way to do it would be to repeat that.
Okay, do it again.
Let's do that.
So one more at 265.
So we're just going to go back to his way, because I don't want you coming into 280 while we're trying to fix a pain and go, the last warm-up was a waste. Keep it slow. All right? Don't bash it hard. Tension, tension, tension. Let's go. Tight, tight, tight. Control. Control. Yes. Come in, come in. Yep. Yeah, definitely better.
Yeah.
Definitely better. So one thing that I see with you, I know it's because of the bar, the cambered bar, is upper back tension, man.
Yeah.
It's like the first thing that happens here is you go here and then you go boom.
Yeah.
Boom. You know what I mean? That's folding in the back because your hands are wide here. That's what I love about the straight bar. This is looser on your shoulders, better on your shoulders, but you lose tension. So with a straight bar, it's tighter on your shoulders, but tight equals strong. So
Bring my hands in. I might bring
the rack's in more.
the out of it.
Yeah, so you can put your hands on the inside of that.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, good one. And then try and squeeze your hands in a touch so we can squeeze your upper back harder, because that's another example of the things that I don't like to see moving.
Yeah.
So your elbows just went, it was just a little bit. But if that happened on 265, it's going to happen more on the 280. 2 kilogram plates. Seems silly, but it's a 26 kilogram bar. That's 276 kilograms right there. Now it's 280. You're pushing it into the thing. Yep, that's better. Yeah, so this is an interesting cue. His hands as close as shoulder mobility allows. That can be misinterpreted. I don't mean just as close as you can go. For him, his shoulders won't allow him to go super close. Same with me, but it's just a little bit closer. So what that does is, the more your hands are further out, the more your shoulder blades come out and you're loosening your upper back. The more we bring our hands in, the more we're squeezing our shoulder blades together. When you squeeze your shoulder blades together, it makes it very hard to fold in the upper back. So that's what he did out of the 265, was just a little bit of that. It was such a small amount. If you look close and rewind on the video, you might see his elbows go, just a small amount. I don't want that to happen. I want it to stay like a rock. So think of it like this, 265, if that happens, what's going to happen when he gets to 420? I don't care about 265. I care about making this perfect so when he comes to 420, he's doing it right. When he does 420 kilograms, you can't have those deviations happen. It needs to be perfect or it's not coming up. Okay. Okay. 4. Strong back. Move to the right just a little bit. Okay, good, 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 good. Strong back. Let's go. Yes, nice. Strong back. Fuck yes. Easy. Stay tight. Easy, last one. Fuck yes. Last one. Strong back. Yes. Nice work. Yep. Yep, you're in. Good. Fuck.
The rack was sticky, but
that was strong, man.
it was a higher rack.
Yeah, it was high bar, bro.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, man. So we have to change the racks again. What a fuck around. But that was strong for what you did.
Yeah.
Certainly.
That was definitely high bar.
What a strange thing. It's low bar, of course. He was sitting on his rear delts. He's sitting on his rear delts. We'll come and see it in a moment. But for where he needs to be, it needs to be about this much now. Like it's probably like an inch higher than where you normally are.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
Yeah, which tips him forward. But your elbows were stuck. There was none of that stuff.
I wasn't pitching them.
Yeah, so I still think that the racks were too far out. Like we can't have your hands in that close. Yeah. So we need to take 2 to perfect that even more. If we get that bar in the right position, if that came up like that now, I bet you it'll be even stronger next. We said 8 minutes. I reckon 10.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back. Because go in to here, because it's just your shoulders that I need to fit in there. So go to about there. Yep. Okay. Yep. This is a feature on the rack that most commercial gyms don't have. It's the ability to bring the racks in or out. So what we tried to do with Reese to increase his upper back tension is bring his hands in. To do that, we had to take the racks out, which is pretty much equivalent to what most gyms have. Gyms usually have just racks out. They have one setting. But that was too tight. So he couldn't get it. That was too tight for his shoulder mobility, which is why the bar ended up being in a higher position than normal, which is a lot weaker. So what we did is we went back to the first plan, which is racks in, which is what he normally is, but we moved the racks in a little bit further so that he can bring his hands in still a little bit tighter than, a little bit closer than what he was when he was warming up, but not as close as his last set. So hopefully it's in the right position that's going to allow him to get the bar where it should be in the low bar position, as well as increase his upper back tension. So hopefully we learned from the mistake of the last set, and this set, although it's the same weight, it should be the strongest set of the day. 6 minutes already, maybe about another 4 more minutes till I start wrapping, or 3 minutes till I start wrapping. Something that I like to say with rest periods, everyone's different. The stronger you get, the longer the rest. The next thing, psych up. You hear me screaming at his last set, and probably if you go back, you'll hear my volume getting a little bit louder and louder as we get to the top sets. Everyone's different with this, but typically, I don't like to shout so much. On your warm-up set, there's no point doing any of that stuff. It's pretty exhausting, and all of this stuff is really exhausting. So that last set was a tough set for Reese, and what we want to do is sit down and rest and drop the heart rate and just completely relax. You're probably going to start seeing, I want him to stay relaxed as I'm wrapping his knees, a little bit more focused, but then as he comes in, that's when we're going to start screaming, and that's when we're going to start switching on. Everyone's got different levels of kind of like neural arousal that they can reach. High-level lifters, I don't know what you call it, it's that switch that you got, they know how to turn it on. So it's exhausting, that part. So that level of neural arousal, if he stays there for a long time, he'll be very exhausted, and it'll be counterproductive for a good session. So what we're going to do is relax as much as possible, but then when we get up to the top set, he's trying to stay calm as I'm wrapping his knees, because that takes a few minutes. But then as he gets here, as he's wrapping his wrists and putting the belt on, that's when we start getting intense. That's when you might hear me start screaming. He'll probably start screaming at himself.
Okay, we're getting ready for our second set now, 280. First set was okay. Still something to be desired though, so we're gonna make it.
Let's get the perfect bar position. Strong back.
Let's go.
Let's go, bro. Come on.
Easy.
Yes, Reese. Let's go. Let's go. Move to the right. Just a little bit. Move to the right. More. That's left. Yes. Good. Squeeze that back hard. That's perfect. Strong back. Let's go. Take your time. Take your time. Let's go. Control. 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 Yes. Easy. Let's go again. Control. Control. Yeah. Let's go. Two more. Strong back. Strong back. Strong back. Easy. Last one. Take your time. Strong back. Strong back. Easy. Fucking oath. That's how. That's how. All right. Smoked it, man. Way better, bro.
That felt nice.
Yeah, got it right.
It's like making it feel hard by obviously trying to create as much tension as possible.
Yeah.
But the weight itself feels pretty good. Just taking my time pushing into the hole, not cutting it, not trying to bounce, but trying to stay tight.
Tension, tension.
That tension, exactly.
If you rewind that first rep,
Yeah.
that flew.
Yeah, it felt
It was like, it's deceiving because you're going down really slow and controlled, then it just goes, boom.
Yeah. Going through the bar a little bit.
Nice.
But I'm happy with that. That's a better way to finish because could have gone another way.
Yeah. But at the same time, I hate this bar. It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it makes it, you lose tension in the upper back. It might be a little bit more comfortable for your shoulders, but it's looser. Looser is weaker, and that's where it was a little bit of a mess around with the grip and everything like that, which we got there in the end. 280, it's a nice weight. For him, we're just getting started. So errors are to be made early in the prep, which is kind of now, but we don't want to make any mistakes. So later on, so if we come back for a few more sessions, we've learned a lot from this session. So 280 for 2x4, that was probably about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And he's exhausted. And so that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the session. Reese, go and subscribe on, what's your
Cold
page?
Strength, baby.
Cold Strength.
Mum's favourite channel on YouTube. Don't you know?
And you'll see his lifting journey. He's a very strong boy, so go give him a subscribe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man.